Hello coaches, welcome back to another Modern Soccer Coach Breakdown. Today we're going to take a look at pressure, cover, balance, some defensive principles, some way you could introduce it, particularly with the new season coming up. Maybe it's something you bring into pre-season. So we'll look at some exercises and then some definitions around that. Before we start, if you enjoy it, please give it a like and a subscribe. And if you want more defensive exercises, please head on over to modernsoccercoach.com/shop on the link below. High intensity pressing exercises, ebook, get your copy below. Okay, pressure, cover, balance, here we go. My definition of pressure, cover, balance would be probably best summed up with this image right here. So 3 elements of the game. The pressure part of it is the player that's applying immediate pressure to the ball. That's quite simple. The cover is that immediate surrounding area, that second player. So if the first player gets beat, it's not a major problem. You have that cover underneath. And then the balance is that third aspect, which is more of a team concept, unit concept, whatever it is, that you've got that balance underneath the ball, vertically and horizontally, to make sure that the team is equipped to delay the player on the ball, or even better, win the ball and start a transition the other way. How can you coach that? Let's look at 3 exercises that I would introduce if I was coaching this today. Okay, the first one's a fairly basic exercise, but it's quite specific in what we're looking for in terms of the details of defining what we're looking for in that pressure and cover element. Maybe not balance, but definitely pressure and cover. So you've got 2 teams, they're going to go 2v2, 4-goal game, fairly simple setup, but you've got a line straight down the middle of the pitch, and that line is going to act as a reference point for the covering defender. So when the ball is played into the first player, you want the closest defender to apply pressure, again, define what that pressure is. And then you want that second player to get the distances and the angles right of their cover. The line in the middle allows them to have that reference point. It's not part of any conditions of the game. It's just a reference point. But both players can use it. So if the ball is passed, the roles can then switch and then vice versa. There's also a transitional element of the game so that if they do win the ball back, you can then keep the game moving. So in pre-season, sometimes those competitive exercises are quite important from a physical and from a competitive standpoint. But this is a really good exercise to introduce the principles of that pressure element and to define it, and then also introduce the angles and the distances of the covering defender. From a personal perspective, sometimes those 2v2 games can become quite simple. Again, if you're working with 12, 13, 14 and upwards, they're going to master those distances and that idea pretty quickly, in my opinion. So how do you create a little bit more chaos so that there's more decisions and there's more randomness in the game, which means that players then have to react quicker and get more challenge in those distances, in that cover, and then introduce the balance as well. So this game here is 8 goals, 9 players, 3 teams of 3. 1 team defends all the time, which is the blue team. So yellow team are trying to score in the 2 bottom goals. 3v3, again, you get the pressure, cover, balance concepts. The area of the grid allows them for a little bit more movement, which means the principles can stay. Again, you've got the transitional element. As soon as the ball is scored, the red team comes on going into another goal. And then again, the blue team have to work and switch again as the yellow team come the other way. So they're always attacking another goal, which means the defensive team has to switch, focus, reorganize themselves and re-establish pressure, cover and balance to the ball. As the game continues to go, fatigue is going to set in because it's quite physically demanding, and that will probably lead to more mistakes, which can then allow you to then see how players can solve that in terms of their distances and in terms of their defensive setup, and maybe then you step in and help with some more reference points to maybe it's showing them to one side and maybe help it reduce the physical load that can help them solve more problems. Love this game. Before we show the last game, coaches, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch these YouTube videos. We've grown the channel from 5,000 to over 22,000 in the space of a year, and that's come from people like yourselves that are switching on and watching the work and supporting it. Our next goal is to put better quality content out more often and help lift the standard of what we're putting out on Modern Soccer Coach. Coaches can help us do that in a number of ways. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take the time just right now. It only takes 2 quick seconds. Just go down, press subscribe. Helps drive the numbers, which helps grow the channel, which is still a goal of what we're trying to do. And then second of all, if you're a regular subscriber and you watch all the videos, please head on over to modernsoccercoach.com/shop. We've got a ton of information over there, ebooks, webinars. If you want to support the work, and again, you want to help us lift the quality of the guests, lift the quality of the content, and help us post more frequently. It takes a little bit of work. Your support really, really helps. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about the third exercise. Okay, so the last game is an 8v8 game, and you can see by the design of the pitch, it's a lot wider than it is long. So now you're going to divide it into 4 different areas and 4 different zones. And then similar to the first exercise, these will act as reference points, but they also are in the conditions of the game. So when the ball goes into a wide channel, the defending team has 5 seconds to get every player across to that side of the pitch. Once they're across, that'll compress the area, that'll allow you to put higher pressure on the ball. With the lack of vertical space, it'll probably challenge the team in possession and maybe force them backwards, which will allow you to press goalkeepers, press centre backs. What I also love about this game here is that if you do not pressure the ball, the pitch is really wide. It can become really, really big and challenging to provide cover and balance if there isn't pressure on the ball. So again, going back to that pressure element, always trying to create conditions that can help players recognize the need for pressure on the ball and then getting that cover and that balance underneath. So there you have it, coaches. Just 3 ideas around session design. Like I said, first of all, I would define it, and not just defining what pressure cover balance is, but also getting specific of your system and the distances that you want. Maybe you're looking for those 7, 11, the 9 to be really, really aggressive when they're applying pressure. Second of all, then you can be more specific with the cover and the balance depending on the system of play that you're going to play. If you're playing with more forwards, obviously you can press a little bit higher. If you're playing with a 4-2-3-1, you're a little bit of a mid block or a low block, then yes, cover and balance become a higher priority because of that system. You might not be able to apply pressure on a back 4 as much as a 4-3-3 or a 3-5-2 can. So it all depends. Again, similar, I get a lot of questions on what's the size of the grids and all that good stuff. And I can never answer it because it all depends on what you're looking for as a coach. And I think that's what we want to keep talking about, a modern soccer coach. We're not going to give you dimensions because every coach is going to look at it in a different way. Similar to the way my definition of pressure cover balance might be different from another coach's, but it's all good as long as it's consistent with how you're talking to your team and how you're designing your sessions on a daily basis. We're here to provide ideas. We're here to talk about some of these concepts. Absolutely love doing it. If you have any requests to talk about anything in the next couple of weeks, put it in the comments below and we'll take a look at it. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.